All right, everyone, buckle up, because what I just witnessed on First Things First might be the most shocking GM interview of the entire offseason. Joe Schoen, the general manager of the New York Giants, sat down with Nick Wright and Chris Broussard this morning and dropped a bomb that is going to reshape the entire NFC East conversation. He announced, on live television, that the Giants are pursuing a trade for Joey Bosa from the Buffalo Bills. Yes, you heard that right. Joey Bosa, the three-time Pro Bowler, the guy who terrorized quarterbacks for years with the Chargers before being traded to Buffalo. Joe Schoen went on national TV and said the Giants want him, and then he spent the next 45 minutes defending that decision while explaining how it fits into the Giants' larger plan. Hey, what's up, everyone? Real quick before we get into everything, that like button is literally what determines if this reaches hundreds or thousands of fans. Takes 1 second, but makes a huge impact on the channel's growth. Just smash that like button right now. It's the easiest thing you can do, but honestly, the biggest way to support this content. Every single like pushes this further, so hit it now. Let me break down exactly how this went down. The interview started with typical combine questions. Nick Wright asked about the Giants' draft plans, about the Bobby Okereke release, about the inside linebacker situation, and Joe gave standard answers for a few minutes. Said the combine was productive, said they're revamping the linebacker room, said John Harbaugh is bringing a new energy to the organization. But then Chris Broussard asked about the pass rush. He mentioned that the Giants have struggled to get consistent pressure on quarterbacks. He asked what the plan is to fix that, especially with Brian Burns coming off an inconsistent season. And that's when Joe Schoen decided to make news. He said the Giants need another edge presence opposite Burns. He said Burns is talented but can't do it alone. He said teams have been able to scheme around having just one pass rusher, and the Giants need to give opponents more problems. And then he said they've reached out to the Buffalo Bills about Joey Bosa. Nick Wright immediately jumped on that. He pointed out that Bosa is one of the most accomplished pass rushers in the NFL. He asked why Buffalo would even consider trading him. And Joe's answer revealed something interesting about the current NFL landscape. He said Buffalo is in a complicated cap situation. He said they have Josh Allen on a massive contract, Stephon Diggs was traded, and they're trying to build depth at multiple positions. He said sometimes teams have to make difficult decisions about which players to keep. He said the Giants are hoping Buffalo decides Bosa is someone they can move. He talked about what Bosa would bring to the Giants. He said Joey is a proven commodity. Multiple Pro Bowls, double-digit sack seasons, playoff experience, leadership qualities. He said Bosa knows how to rush the passer at the highest level, and that's exactly what the Giants need. Chris Broussard brought up Bosa's injury history. He mentioned the various injuries that have affected Bosa over the years, the missed games, the concern about durability. And Joe acknowledged it, but offered a different perspective. He said every veteran pass rusher has injury history. He said the position demands so much physically that wear and tear is inevitable. He said the Giants aren't looking for a player who's never been hurt. They're looking for a player who performs when he's on the field. And Joey Bosa has always performed when healthy. Nick Wright asked about the financial implications. Bosa has a significant contract. Can the Giants afford him while also addressing their other needs? And Joe walked through the numbers. He said releasing Bobby Okereke freed up $9 million. He said they're going to release additional players like James Hudson and Devin Singletary, which will free up more. He said they can restructure Brian Burns and Andrew Thomas to create even more space. He said by the time they're done, they'll have over $40 million in cap room. He said that's enough to absorb Bosa's contract, add a few free agents, and still have flexibility going into the draft. He said the Giants have been planning for this. They've been conservative in recent years specifically, so they could make a move like this. when the opportunity arose. Chris Broussard asked how Bosa would fit with Brian Burns. He mentioned that both players are edge rushers, and coordinating two high-paid edge players can be challenging. And Joe's answer showed real excitement about the possibility. He said Burns on one side and Bosa on the other would be terrifying for opposing quarterbacks. He said, imagine Dak Prescott trying to decide which one to slide protection toward. He said the Giants could generate pressure with just their front four, which would allow Denard Wilson to do creative things with the rest of the defense. He talked about John Harbaugh's history with pass rushers. He mentioned Terrell Suggs, Elvis Dumervil, Zadarius Smith. He said Harbaugh knows how to use multiple pass rushing options effectively. He said the Giants' scheme would maximize both Burns and Bosa, rather than having them get in each other's way. Nick Wright pushed back on the trade price. He said Buffalo would probably want significant draft capital for Bosa. He asked if the Giants are prepared to give up premium picks for a player in his 30s. And Joe made an interesting argument. He said the Giants have the 5th overall pick, which they're likely using on a defensive player anyway. He said if they trade for Bosa, maybe they can use that pick on a different position of need. He said acquiring proven talent allows you to be more flexible in the draft. He said the Giants aren't afraid to give up picks for established players. He said sometimes the best draft pick is one you don't make because you already got your guy through a trade. Chris Broussard asked about the timeline. When does Joe expect this trade to happen? And Joe said the negotiations are ongoing. He said the NFL league year starts soon, and they're hoping to have something finalized by then. He said if it doesn't work out, they'll pivot to free agency options. But he made it clear that Bosa is their top target. He talked about what Bosa would mean for the Giants' culture. He said Joey is a consummate professional. He said the work ethic, the preparation, the leadership qualities. He said young players would benefit from being around someone like Bosa every day. Nick Wright brought up the NFC East competition. He pointed out that the Eagles are loaded, the Cowboys have questions, the Commanders are improving. He asked how the Giants plan to compete in what's become the toughest division in football. And Joe's answer showed both awareness and confidence. He said the Eagles are the team to beat, no question. He said they have talent everywhere, and Saquon Barkley has been incredible. But he also said the Eagles aren't unbeatable. He said every team has weaknesses, and the Giants are building a roster designed to exploit those weaknesses. He said adding Joey Bosa would be a statement. He said it would tell the rest of the division that the Giants are serious about competing. He said it would show free agents that New York is a destination where players can win. The conversation shifted to the broader off-season plan. Joe talked about the linebacker situation, about potentially signing Devin Lloyd or another free agent. He talked about the receiver needs, the offensive line questions, the various holes that need to be filled. But he kept coming back to the pass rush. He said everything starts with getting to the quarterback. He said, if you can pressure the quarterback consistently, it elevates your entire defense. It makes corners look better. It makes linebackers look better. It makes the whole unit more effective. He said that's why Bosa is so important. He said Bosa isn't just a pass rusher. He's a force multiplier. He makes everyone around him better. Chris Broussard asked the tough question. What if the Bosa trade doesn't go through? What's plan B? And Joe said they have multiple options. He mentioned the draft, saying guys like Sonny Styles and Caleb Downs could be available at 5. He mentioned free agency, saying there are edge rushers who could help. He said they're not putting all their eggs in one basket, but he also made it clear that Bosa is plan A. He said if they can get him, they're going to get him. He said you don't pass up opportunities to add players of Bosa's caliber. The interview ended with Nick Wright asking Joe what he would say to Giants fans who have been frustrated by recent seasons. And Joe's answer was both honest and inspiring. He said he understands the frustration. He said the last few years have been disappointing, He said fans have every right to demand better, but he also said the organization is committed to turning things around. He said John Harbaugh is the right coach. He said the draft picks they've accumulated give them options. He said the cap space they've created allows them to make moves. He said all the pieces are coming together. He said the Bosa pursuit is proof of that commitment. He said the Giants aren't going to sit back and hope things get better. They're going to be aggressive. They're going to pursue top talent. They're going to do whatever it takes to win. Man, I came out of that interview completely shocked. Joe Schoen went on First Things First and announced the Giants are pursuing Joey Bosa. He explained the reasoning, he defended the strategy, and he made it clear that the Giants are done being passive. This is exactly what Giants fans have been waiting for. Not excuses, not patience, not rebuilding. Action. Real, aggressive action to build a contending roster. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you want Bosa on the Giants? What would you give up to get him? Do you think this trade makes the Giants a playoff team? And if you liked this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Because this Giants offseason is about to be absolutely crazy. And I'm going to be here covering every single move. See you in the next one.